Welcome to the On Deck podcast for all your baseball DFS needs with your superstar hosts, fantasy baseball experts, Casey, Bubba, and Bogman. On Deck podcast is sponsored by LineStar app, the #1 top-rated data and analytics tool for daily fantasy sports.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the LineStar On Deck MLB DFS podcast. Hope every weekend getting ready for another week of MLB DFS action with a 9-game slate on Monday. Before we get into that, make sure you check out LineStar on Twitter at LineStar app, at LineStar MLB, and go and get the app at the Apple App Store and on Google Play. It is worth every bit of your time to download it and play with it. It is amazing. Great stuff there. You can find me on Twitter at BDentric and my co-host, as always, on Twitter at Bogman Sports. Scott Bogman, how we doing, man?
How about a no-hitter? How about a double-header sweep? And how about a 500 record for my Arizona Diamondbacks? It was a great weekend for me seeing that. I don't know if it's going to count. They're kind of debating on if a 7-inning no-hitter counts or if it doesn't right now. So I guess we'll figure that out in the next couple days. Right now it doesn't count, but they were celebrating it like it counted. So it was a pretty impressive day for my D-backs.
Hey, if baseball's going to be, I'm going to change my word. If baseball's going to allow for 7-inning double hitters, that is an actual legal game, then it should be a no hitter.
Yeah, you can't throw any more innings. So how is that not
his fault?
Right, right.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm glad they celebrated at Mad Bum. It was funny to see, everyone poo-pooing on him, and he actually got the job done. So that was cool. Dodgers Padres continue to just live up to the hype. We talked about, I think last Monday we're like, yeah, what a great series. And now we're here this Monday, and yeah, what another great series. My goodness, Tatis's shoulder still looks broken to me, but he's figuring out how to hit bombs. That's all I know.
Yeah, he's keeping the two hands on the bat, I guess, on his follow-through and stuff, and maybe that'll last the whole year, but he is dropping absolute bombs right now, so he is killing them. Love his one-eyed celebration going around first base against Trevor Bauer, so... and the meme, all the little barbs and exchanges have been fantastic. So, it's a really, really good rivalry right now.
And you got to respect Bauer, because Bauer flat out said, "Hey, he hit a home run off of me. Do whatever you want. It's my fault." So, he gets it. He's like, "I'll talk trash. You can talk trash back. Knock yourself out."
That's a nice part about Bauer, but then the Twitter stuff.
Oh yeah, I'm just talking about on the field. He's a dumb in other aspects of life, but I think what he tries to do to make baseball better, I like.
Yes.
So
okay. You know what? We can both get on board for that. I agree with that.
Try to it's like a lot of things in our life. We have to kind of focus on certain lanes, and I'm trying to focus on that lane with Trevor Bauer. So it's a fun weekend overall. There's obviously more than a couple series that took place, but we're not going to go through everything because, that's what Quick Pitch on MLB Network is for. We're here to break down your 9-game Monday slate, which is nice because both slates, FanDuel and DraftKings, are 9 games. They both start at 7:05 Eastern. It's going to be a lot of fun. Right now, we only have 6 totals on the slate because there's some pitching changes and other stuff like that. Overall, it looks like no rain, which is going to be outstanding. The wind's blowing out heavy in St. Louis, so keep that in mind to left field. Other than that, it looks like a relatively simple evening. So, Bogman, if you're ready, I'm ready. You want to do this?
Let's roll. Let's do it.
Okay, we'll kick it off with the Yankees at the Orioles Camden Yard specials. This is circling the chalk Yankees stack incoming. We have David Garcia versus Matt Harvey, total of 9 in this game. You have Garcia on DraftKings is $7,100. On FanDuel, he's not there yet because they didn't know he was starting. Harvey's 53 on DraftKings, 63 on FanDuel. We're obviously not using him. Any interest in David Garcia as possibly an SP2 on DraftKings?
I think maybe a little bit. So sorry about that. That was my cat falling off of my table here. So, I think Davey would be a pretty nice second starter in DK.
Yeah, I'm with you there. If you're making a bunch of lineups, he's there. If for some reason you need to save some money, he's there. But there's some other options I prefer, but I am on board with it because a lot of strikeouts to be had there. Supposedly he's already stretched out at the alt site, which is great to see. Obviously, I kind of hinted at it. The total is 9. Bats, Bogman. Where are we going?
Yeah, lots of bats in this game. Stanton at 49 and 36 seems like he's starting to come around. Ronald Odor has started to hit, Bub, and he's 31 and 26. So
they had him at
really
cleanup
cheap.
on Sunday. Sunday.
Right, exactly. There's some bats on the Baltimore side as well. 44 and 31 for Trey Mancini. Hayes, who hit a bomb this weekend, 26 and 23. Mountcastle's 34 and 25. And Cedric Mullins still cheap, 35 and 27. So there are some decent bats in this game.
Yeah, definitely the Baltimore side I think will be a little more contrarian, obviously, but that is some nice value that I think you can play with in this game. I don't mind a game stack in this game at all. I think it's very, very live. But on like the Yankee side of things, you can get Gio Urshela for 34 on DK, and he's like 28 on FanDuel. You get Brett Gardner's 34 on DK. He's been leading off a lot. There's some nice value to be had with the big boppers as well. So the Yankees will be popular for good reason. Mix and match there. I think a game stack's very much in play if you're not using Davy Garcia. Chicago at the Atlanta Braves. Davies, Morton, total of 8.5 in this one. Morton's 8K on DK. He's 86 on FanDuel. Zach Davies is 75 on DK. He's 56 on FanDuel. I'm not interested in Davies too much, Bogman, but Morton, I keep going back to the well in a tournament. He's got strikeout appeal to me, but are you in on either of these pitchers?
Not really. I mean, maybe Morton, but I'm telling you, ever since the Cubs had that 16-run game, they have been hitting. So yep. I feel like I don't want either side of this game. You know, Davies might be a nice contrarian play. He's been terrible, and I'm not gonna try to sit here and tell you that he is going to be good in this game. I have no idea, but I did just watch the Braves get 2 hits over 14 innings and strike out 14 times. So their bats are about as dead as they can get right now. So Davies might be a nice contrarian play just because the Braves aren't hitting right now.
Very, very popular. If you want to get really weird, as I like to say, that is an option. So I don't hate when guys want to make a stand like that. You can get all the bats when you do that. But speaking of bats, DK has the Braves priced up, at least the big dogs. And then FanDuel, they're a little expensive. But you like the Cubs also. So what bats do you like here?
Yeah, there's a couple bats. I mean, we have some nice PVB data here. I mean, I don't, if Pablo's in the lineup, which is a rarity, he is 4 for 11 off of Davies with 2 doubles and a homer. Marcell Ozuna is 9 for 23 off of Davies with a double. And then we have Anthony Rizzo is 5 for 20, but 3 of his 5 hits are for extra bases. 2 doubles and a bomb off of Davies in his career. On the Cubs side, I mean, these guys are hitting. Baez is hitting 4,900, 3,800. Hayward is hitting 33 and 27. Chris Bryant 47 and 38. Nico Horner, who just got called up, is hitting 27 and 2,300. He's nice and cheap. And Guillermo Heredia is playing center field every day, 34 and 29 right now, and then 32 and 25 for Austin Riley. Yep. So there's some nice prices on both sides of this game.
Yeah, it's definitely one if you don't believe in Charlie Morton. I like the idea of like the values, especially. You mentioned Horner. I like Austin Riley's for the Braves. He's been heating up over the weekend, and we've talked about him before. Like even last season, when he gets streaky, he gets really streaky. So he's a nice values, like you said. Plus the Acuñas, the Freemans of the world, they're expensive. You can go there if you're on the Braves side. The Cubs, yeah, I don't hate the idea of attacking Morton. They just got to work on their strikeouts, but they are heating up, so that could be big. They did get mowed down by Woodruff on Sunday, but that happens. But I like the values, especially like Horner and Riley are 2 that I've kind of circled going into the evening. Next up on the docket, we have Oakland at Tampa Bay. Sean Manaea versus Rich Hill. Total is 8.5 in this one. We have Manaea on DraftKings at 78, and on FanDuel, he is a whopping $8,100. On DK, we have Rich Hill at 68, and on FanDuel, we have him at 58. I'm never a Manaea guy, but he's been burning me of late. Are you in on either of these pitchers?
I'm in on Manaea. Yeah, I'm in on Manaea for this game against Tampa Bay, and let's start another win streak. They had 13 wins in a row. The A's did, finally lost on Sunday, but I think they can start to come back in this game. I like the price at 78 and 81, and some of these bats have been hot. You mentioned it in the last show we did that. Our boy Matt Olson is crushing it right now, and he is not crazy expensive, 48 and 38, so not bad. Elvis Andrus has been hitting 32 and 22 for him, so he's been pretty good. Mark Canha, 41 and 35 is a little pricey. Jed Lowry at 42 and 31 is a little pricey too, but Joey Wendell, 37 and 38, actually cheaper on DK. So I really like that price for him in this game. And then Kevin Kiermaier at 2,500, 2,300. He had a nice weekend. So he's hitting a little bit too, should he be in the lineup.
Yeah, you got the big dogs like the Laureano's been he had at least 1 or 2 homers over the weekend. You mentioned Olsen. I like Kana just leading off. He's just a cash machine, getting on base and scoring runs, double digit wise there. So I like those quite a bit. On the Tampa Bay side, though, you get Yandy Diaz super cheap. He's 33 on DK, 27 on FanDuel. Mike Broso, who crushes lefties, hit a homer on Saturday. He's 35 on DK, 28 on FanDuel. So those are a couple cheapies I really, really like. Like the Anders one's interesting. But also on DK, you can get like Matt Chapman for 29. On FanDuel, 29. Margot's 29 on FanDuel, 27 on DK. So another game, if you don't buy into the pitching too much, you're looking for some avenues of value. Oakland Tampa Bay has a lot of it. So I think that's definitely an angle to go to. Even if like you don't have to stack it, if it's like 1 or 2 pieces, then it just allows you to do everything else you want to do. Not the worst thing in the world. All right, this is the one where I don't plan on using a ton of bats on this one, and you're going to find out in a minute why. Miami at Milwaukee, Trevor Rogers, Corbin Burns. The total is 6.5.
Oh, my God.
That tells you everything you need to know. 6.5. And we said this Friday when Jacob deGrom was 10,900 on DraftKings just to play him. He was 12,000 in FanDuel. Sometimes there's good cash. Sometimes there's mispricings. Corbin Burns is 10-4 on DK. So just play him. On FanDuel, he's 11-1. I'm pretty good with just playing him too. Yeah. Trevor Rogers is 84 on DK, and he's 96 on FanDuel. I have thoughts on these pitchers. I want to get yours first because I have a strategy topic to talk about. So what do you like with these two?
I mean, I think I'm okay with either one of them. Burns obviously has been super, super hot. Still hasn't walked the batter, all that good stuff. So if you want to just go chalk and start him and pay up, absolutely do it. I mean, he, just like we mentioned with DeGrom, he's going to do it. I'm not against Rogers as a contrarian play either. So I like both of them.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you on that. Corbin Burns, no walks, 40K so far. He hasn't given up a run in his last 3 starts, over 30 points in every start. Like, the dude's ridiculous. So, yeah, I'm playing him pretty much everywhere. He's a cash game, 100% lock. Like, you just put him in. In tournaments, if you want to get different, sure. But, like, I defined it as if you make 10 lineups, I'd go 70 to 80% Burns and then maybe get different, like 2 or 3 spots. I wouldn't get too cute. The other strategy I have on DraftKings, I'm good playing both of them together. I'm 100% good with that. We've seen it work here in recent games, especially when big time pitchers pitch together. On paper, say Burns gets his 30 to 35 and Rogers gets his 20 to 25. You're talking 50 to 60 points right there. Fine. Because in reality, you're not using bats in this game. So play both pitchers and take the points. The only other angle I'll say, because I'm not going to play any bats right now, if you're looking to be contrarian on this slate, this is the 2 lineups to play. So just go for it. But Burns and Rogers,
if you are going to be contrarian, I would go with just some of the hot bats. Jesus Aguilar, I told you guys he's going to start hitting homers, and he did this weekend.
3 homers in 4 games in San Francisco.
Right, and then Jazz Chisholm, and he's 39 and 28, so he's not expensive. Jazz Chisholm is 43 and 3,100. Then on the flip side, Vogelbach, 33 and 25, nice cheap option. Colton Wong, 37.29. Omar Narvaez has been hitting 4,500 and 2,500, so he's cheap too.
And your boy Keston here is back too.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. No thanks.
No, there's tons of values. Like the one thing I'll suggest, if you're going to play any bats for either of these games, do like a full 5-man stack. Like you go for broke. Don't don't cherry pick it. Go for the app. Like they're shelling someone tonight, because if you pick 1 or 2 and then it's 1 or 2 other guys, you're gonna be so angry. It's still, if you're going for this one, go for the gusto. Don't even mess around. All right, Philadelphia at St. Louis on this slate. The over under is 8. Zach Wheeler against Adam Wainwright. Wheeler's 9K on DK. He's 83 on FanDuel. On DK at Wainwright 72. On FanDuel he's 75. Personally, Bogman, I also said the wind's supposed to be blowing out heavy to left field in this game. I'm not going with either pitcher here. I do like some of the bats. What about you?
Did you say the over, or was there an over for this?
Over under is 8 on this one.
8. Okay. I think I want to stack St. Louis bats in this one. A lot of good PVB data here versus Wheeler. Paul DeYoung, 3 for 6 with a double and 2 homers. So all 3 of his 6 at bats, or all 3 of his hits off of Wheeler have gone for extra bases. Yadier Molina, who may or may not play, he left Sunday's game with foot soreness. He is 3 for 8 with a double. Bryce Harper against Wainwright is 11 for 23 off of him with 4 doubles and a bomb, and he hit 2 homers today. Matt Joyce, should he be in the lineup, is 4 for 10 with 2 doubles, and Andrew McCutcheon, of course, because Pittsburgh and the Cardinals play each other a million times, 19 for 64 in his career off of Wainwright. That's a 297 average with 6 doubles, a triple, and 2 homers. So, was that 9 of his 19 hits gone for extra bases? On the Philly side, Hoskins 5,200, 3,700, and Real Muto 5,200 and 3,300 as pretty hot options as well. So I might stack both sides of this game.
Yeah, I like quite a few. I prefer the Philly side, but everyone goes, well, what about the Coors Field hangover? It does happen. There's very truth to that, but I like the Philly side for sure. But I don't mind St. Louis, and you mentioned a couple reasons why. I like some of the right-handed options to be different. Like I love Carlson, of course. He's 33 on both sides. That's still too cheap for me. Or he's 33 and 29. I mean, but you mentioned DeYoung, and then if Yadier is not there, Knitzler, I don't know how to say it probably.
Kintzler, I think it is.
He started on Sunday, and he's super cheap. Like I played him everywhere in cash just for these $2,200. He'll play again. He's a prospect that actually had offensive pedigree, so he's not like a complete bum when he comes up to hit. So keep him in mind as value. I really like the St. Louis side of this game. And the other reason why I was saying it is you look at career splits, lefties have hit Wheeler pretty good. But this season, righties are hitting him for a ton of power. So I think that's an angle if you want to be different. Like you play your Carlsons and some of these guys, but Goldie, Arenado, DeYoung, like all these guys, all these big right-handed bats that people get scared to play against the right-handed pitcher could be very, very nice tonight. So I like that St. Louis side. You mentioned the Philly guys. Like obviously I'm a Reese guy, Harper, but the St. Louis side I think is very intriguing. There's always like 1 or 2 stacks I think I kind of want to get weird with, and that's one of them for sure. All right, we don't have a total on this one. Angels at Rangers, and the reason is because Shohei Otani is going to start on Saturday, and it was kind of made official late in the day. So it's Otani versus Jordan Lyles. Otani's 77 on DK. He's 91 on FanDuel, which makes sense. Jordan Lyles on DK is 62, on FanDuel 72. If you're not playing Trevor Rogers, you better play Shohei Otani on DraftKings. That's all I have to say.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. I don't think I'm messing with Otani until he throws like one really good gem of a game. You
weren't happy with his 4 innings last week at 80 pitches. And it was on pitch
4
count.
innings.
He was out on pitch count for 80 pitches. Now he's going to be able to go 90 to 100 again this week.
Yeah, okay. I mean, 90 to 100 is better, but I just, any little thing, he slips at home plate, he stubs his toe on the way out the dugout, and they yank him. So I'm just not, I'm just not happy with that yet. So I just want to see him get a full start in, a full 115 pitches and go. I hate this babying of him. It drives me nuts. So I think that's how I'm looking at him right now.
The other thing I want to mention, I was looking at this earlier. So when you look at the Texas Rangers, this is impressive stuff, Bogman. Going into Sunday, because Fangraphs has not, we record on Sunday night, Fangraphs has not updated. They take a day to update everything. Going into Sunday's action, Texas is striking out over 30% of the time with right-handed pitching. Almost a third of their at-bats are strikeouts. So I'll take my chances. In a tournament at 7,700, I will not play him at 91 on FanDuel. So I just wanted to discuss it there. I think Otani is very intriguing at 77. But for the bats, we got to like the Angels, I think.
Yeah, I mean, lots of history here, too. Trout, 5 for 15. Should he be actually in this lineup? 2 doubles, 2 homers off of Lyles. 6 for 13 for Upton with a double. 3 for 7 for Suzuki with a double. So, yeah, I mean, I'm into some Angels bats for sure.
Walsh has gotten cheaper. Suzuki keeps hitting, like you said. Fletcher's really cheap. He's actually kind of starting to hit, and he's at least at a price point where it makes sense to give him a shot now. Before he's like high 4s and low 5s. And then I love the Upton price tag outside of the obvious Trout. So I'm with you there. If you don't believe in Otani, then I think it's worth having a Ranger stack if you want one. I will say that much because I stacked them on Friday after we talked about it. I did a game stack of White Sox and Rangers with DeGrom, and they were all less than 10% owned, and it was great. So that's how you be different. But would you be interested in Texas, or are you just avoiding Texas?
No, I'm interested in Texas a little bit too, because I think we're going to get to that Angels bullpen fairly quick because of this pitch count and all that stuff. So Garcia, who has been just hitting, he went for a crazy amount in my TGFBI league. It was like $170. But Adolis Garcia, 4,100, 3,400. Nick Solak, 49 and 35. Nate Lowe, 42 and 34. And Willie Calhoun, still cheap, 29, and 26. Those are the bats I like on the Rangers side.
And you said a key point there. If he goes 4 or 5 innings, I don't think he goes. I'd be shocked if he goes 6, but he can go 5. Either way, you're getting 4 to 5 innings of that bullpen, and that's the key, like you said. So it's like you're going to roster him, just stomach the like 1.5 at bats that might suck, and then just remember the end of the. And they were doing that against even the White Sox. Like on Kopech on Sunday, he had 10 Ks through 4. They got to the bullpen, all of a sudden the Rangers scored like 5 or 6 runs. So this offense is kind of sneaky. They're streaky, but they're sneaky. So I'm with you. Like Lowe, Garcia, Solak, really, really good stuff there. I think it's another one of those kind of contrarian plays. Seattle at Houston. We do not have a total in this game either. But right now I have Urquidy versus Sheffield. Urquidy's 82 on DK. He is 67 on FanDuel. On DK, Justice Sheffield's 55 on FanDuel. He's 71. Like, I'm not like the biggest fan of Urquidy. I think he's good, and I don't think 67 is a fair price for him.
Yeah, I think he's just it's that last start. Of course, you got to take that with a little bit of a grain of salt because his last start was in Colorado. He had 3 walks and 1 strikeout, gave up 4 earned. The game before that, 5 2/3. He had 2 walks and 7 strikeouts. That was on the road against Seattle. So, yeah, I think I like Urquidy at this price. I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, I think if you're making a few lineups and you want to punt a pitcher, I think he's a very viable one on FanDuel. On DK, I'm not as in love with him at his price point. When you have Rogers 200 more, I'm a fan of the Otani factor. I think he's still in play. I'm not like discounting him completely, but he's a little more of a discussion on DK. What bats do you like here? Because Justice Sheffield isn't doing it for me. Houston's swinging it hot right now.
Yeah, I mean, and I want to ride those hot Houston bats too. Bregman, 5,000, 3,800. Carlos Correa at 54 and 36. Gurriel at 46.29. Miles Straw, low in the lineup, but still cheap, 28.24. And Michael Brantley is at 56 and 32. So I want to ride those hot bats. And on the Seattle side, if you're not going to start Urquidy, Ty France has been hot, 4,000, 3,400. Mitch Haniger, 4,000. 37, and Kyle Seager's 44, but 29 on FanDuel. So some good options here.
You nailed it. If you're not playing Urquidy, I think I played the 1, 2, 3 Haniger, France, Seager stack like at least one lineup every day of the last week, and I'm not even BSing. Like they're sneaky talented and they're always affordable. So I've been on that quite a bit, and I do really, really like that Houston side. I try to be different a little bit if you want, or just take the chalk and be different elsewhere in some other stack. But they're swinging a good, and Altuve could even be coming back. So see what you want to do with that. 2 more games to go for you as we head to the West Coast. But before we get there, if you go to iTunes, if you could rate and review the podcast, we would appreciate it quite a bit. Or if you'd like to watch the podcast, go check out the LineStar YouTube channel, subscribe and share and like all that good stuff. Give it the thumbs up, which helps out there. We'd really, really appreciate it. All right, Bogman, Colorado at the Giants. Austin Gomber, Anthony DeSclafani, over under 7.5 on this one. DeSclo is 79 on DK, 68 on FanDuel. FanDuel has Chichi Gonzalez. It is Austin Gomber. Austin Gomber 65 on DK, so we don't know his FanDuel price yet. Austin Gomber is an SP2 option for me if you're punting. Do you have any interest in either pitcher?
No, I have lots of interest in bats on both sides in this game.
What you got?
I like, PVB data versus DeSclafani on the Colorado side. Story 3 for 7 with a double. He's cheap on FanDuel, 48.35. So I think that's a decent buy. Charlie Blackmon, he's been terrible this year, but he does have some good PVB data here. 4 for 12 with a triple against DeSclafani. 4,000. He's in 3,200 is cheap for him, but that's a risky one. On the other side, some of the hot bats on Colorado. Crone, Tapia, Hampson, McMahon, and then there's all kinds of hot bats for your Giants right now with over the last week with Yastrzemski, Dickerson, Ruff, Posey, Belt, Flores, all pretty decent. So I kind of like a Giant stack against Gomber here.
Yeah, if you're not using Gomber, I get it because sometimes he has walk problems, but he looks better this year. He's striking guys out. He dominated the Giants in Coors earlier this year, so we'll see how he does. But the Giants bats are hot. I do like the price tag on Posey. He's swinging it really like that year off has done him wonders. It looks like. Don't mind him. Like the Floreses, the Slaters, the Ruffs, like you can use as versus lefties. So I don't mind those if you're going that route. And then on the Rocky side, like I don't know if I'm going all in on the Rocks, but I will say you mentioned Story's 35 on FanDuel. The 48 price tag on DK seems high, but for Trevor Story, that's low. And even outside of Coors Field, that's low. So I'm like, a part of me just thinks that's kind of a play that I'm going to take the discount on compared to other shortstops that are expensive. Like in Coors, he's like 55, 56, but even outside, he's in the fives still. So 48, he's hitting for great averages here, home or away. So I don't completely hate that play. Last game of the night, Reds at Dodgers. Tyler Mahle, Julio Urias over under 7.5. Urias 97 on DK, 99 on FanDuel. You got Tyler Mahle 94 on DK, 93 on FanDuel. I like both pitchers. I don't know if I'm going to use either one. Are you interested in either one?
I think I'd be interested in Urias. Yeah, if I had to pick one, 97 and 99, I think is a decent price for him. You're not getting involved at that point, probably in the Burns versus Rogers game. So I think Urias is a nice pivot.
Yeah, Urias, when I mentioned earlier, like if you're doing 10 lineups, you do like 7 or 8 Burns, Urias would be the other 2 or 3. That's kind of where I've looked at that, just because he's been so volatile. If you look at his games this year, he's either all or nothing. So tournament style stuff. What bats do you like in this game, though? Because the Dodgers hit everybody. Like, I respect Mahle and like Mahle, but after you get to him, that good old Reds bullpen shows up.
Yeah, I feel like you could pretty much play any Dodgers bat here. I think my favorites are Taylor and Pollock. They've been hot recently. 3,600, 2,500 for Pollock. Should he be in the lineup? And then Taylor at 46 and 31 has been real nice as well. On the other side, if you're not playing Urias, Winker has been red hot. 42 and 4,000 is probably my favorite Red spat.
Yeah, those are always the strong plays. And try to find value if you can. Go to the outfield somewhere with them. It's just tough. Moustakas is out, and Urias is just weird, but I do like the Dodgers bats. Like, check the Dodgers lineups because they're always rotating these guys out there. It's like you'll get Sheldon Noyce in there, or you'll get this Rayleigh guy or some other ones that are super cheap, and they somehow all produce. It's so annoying. So annoying.
And remember, I mean, this may not be the best day out of all of them in this Dodgers Red series, but just getting into that Reds bullpen, it will just open the floodgates, especially against the Dodgers.
In a big way. So that is true. But that wraps up our 9-game preview of this slate. Real quick, we like Burns. I think they got our pitching that we like. Who do you like to stack up tonight?
Yeah, I like the Yankees stack against the Orioles. I think that's a pretty solid one. Either side of Cardinals and Phillies, I think, is pretty decent. And I like the Giants against Gomber.
Yeah, the Yankees and Astros, I think, will be the two, and maybe the Dodgers will be like your popular ones tonight for good reasons. I think that St. Louis is a nice pivot angle, and a few other ones we talked about, like Baltimore and Texas, could be interesting as well, going for the bullpen angle there. But with all that being said, Bogman, let's win some free swag for the listeners. Kick off Monday with a bang. Everybody will pick our home run calls of the night. Bogman, myself, and Ryan Humphreys. The tweet will go out. Retweet the tweet. They'll pick 3 of you at random. If one of the home runs hits, you'll win some free swag. So Bogman, on this Monday, April 26th, who's your home run call of the day?
You mean Giancarlo Stanton against those Orioles. Don't know where he's going to get it, but I think he gets it. Let's go.
I like that one. I like that quite a bit. You're going Giancarlo. We're going to stick in the same game, though. And I am going with the one, the only. I'm getting off the schneid here. Gleyber Torres is in Baltimore, folks. Gleyber Torres is going deep in Baltimore. So he's fixing his wrongs here. Gleyber Torres. So we'll see. But that'll wrap us up on this Monday edition. Again, check out LineStar on Twitter, at LineStar app, at LineStar MLB. Rate and review the podcast on iTunes. Go subscribe, watch all that good stuff on YouTube on the LineStar YouTube channel, and get the app, the Apple App Store, at Google Play area. But other than that, good luck on Monday, and we'll catch you guys tomorrow.
See you, everybody. Good luck.
Thank you for listening to the LineStar App On Deck podcast. Download LineStar app from the App Store or go to linestarapp.com for all your DFS baseball needs. If you love the On Deck podcast, support KC, Bubba, and Bogman by rating and subscribing. Good luck.